Fam, I'm here in my neighborhood, walking my neighborhood today. And pardon the wind, I just made it all the way around my first lap of my block and missed my whole live recording, or my whole recording didn't record, and a set of my squats. Pardon the wind. And my thought for today. So to say the least, I'm kind of perturbed about that, or upset. But I don't take nothing for granted. I take it as if maybe I was talking too much. And I'll just say a few words about my thought for today. And it is one of consistency and basically just showing up. I spoke on that yesterday in my prior recording about the Most High told me he needed me to be consistent, because a lot of times folks couldn't care a hill of beans about what I said, but because they keep seeing me showing up, after a while they're going to get curious, and finally they're going to say, what is this old boy talking about? And then they just might hear my testimony, or they just might hear my thought of the day, and why I'm out here doing what I'm doing daily. And they just might hear something that'll change their lives and point them towards the Most High. But my script was, well, the one the Most High gave me, was about the parable of the lady and the king. You know, the lady who aggravated the king so much that he said, I don't care what this woman wants, give it to her, because she is aggravating me, in my own words. But Yahusha was using this example to teach his disciples about prayer and how we need to stay consistent in prayer to the Most High, or with the Most High, however you want to look at it. But this goes to show the same, or should go to show the same in our everyday regular lives. And also what sort of effort we're putting towards living this life. Because if we put forth the effort as if someone is always watching and grading us, that was a good thought. What do they call that? Where they grade you on a sway? A guide? But they grade you according to certain things. Maybe like you have a mental issue or a learning disability, or you haven't learned all the information. I forget the name of it, but I'll think about it. Or I ask my wife, she'll know. But yeah, we had to, pardon my train of thought got taken a little bit, because I'm always listening, even when I'm talking. Them old coons over there yapping. But if we would live our lives as if we're being graded for eternity, and our destination, then we may just be a little more consistent and a little more, what's the word I just used? Dedicated, enthusiastic about what you're doing for the Father. But I also gave the example, one of persistency, about the bad news bears. And most folks that came up in the 80s and or 90s would know that story. It's a story about a group of ragtag kids who could never win a baseball game. But what I wrote in my notes was, it wasn't because they didn't have the love for the game. Because that they had down pat. They knew all the major players' stats. They had all the baseball cards from their favorite players and the pros that any kid would want to have. Those group of boys, they were on it. They loved themselves some baseball. But the only problem about that, they thought their love for the game was going to turn into a W or two. But no, they overlooked having to put in the hard work and having a coach that would bring it out of them. That's a good thought. And see, that's how it is with us in the Most High. We just have to keep on showing up daily, persistently, being consistent, and doing the only way he tells us to do, like he told Yahushua. He said, only say and do what I tell you. How you doing? Good. Or Yahushua said he only do and say what he see the Father say and do. I don't like when people try to change my path because of the path they're on. Now he was walking more or less in the middle of the street. Then when he come up on me, he's gonna try to make me go to the left of him, coming in front of me, and have me go out into the street more. But no, see, sometimes you gotta be stubborn. Just like this word for today, consistent. I'm not gonna let somebody run me off my path or off my spot like I thought we had last week. And no, I'm not being mean, I'm being real. If you was out here, you would see exactly what I'm talking about. But besides that, my main point of today is being consistently persistent. Being consistently persistent. I went on to tell the story of how I was a leader on one of the worst baseball teams in our school's history. And I was the pitcher, the starting pitcher. And those guys would look to me as if I'm supposed to swing a wand and get us a win. drop off a package today. So I said I'll finish my ride up in the park, since the UPS store is right up the street from my park. And it's a bit safer. I like going back to my neighborhood and getting grounded and remembering where I come from. And also seeing my neighbors. It definitely builds up my faith, seeing them out and about and speaking to me, ask me where I've been, am I still walking and enjoying my rides, well, which they see, but they always want to know how have I been, and if I'm still basically pushing forward in the right direction. So when they see me, it's like, there go my boy. And like I said, a lot of them folks, they saw me out when I was pushing that walker and had them staples in my leg and the bloody wrappings or bandages, and I was doing good to make it around the block, which started off I was making it halfway through the block, and not only was I losing energy or wind, but my legs were hurting. My leg was hurting so bad, so I would have to turn around. And I started on that journey, maybe trying to get out twice a day to see if I could better my yesterday's mark or goal. But it's all about consistency and persistence. And that turning into goals made. Alright, so it's definitely not easy. Like I said in the prior recording, once you break the ice on every day, or busting the seal by getting out here every day, then it becomes easier. Because I haven't faced a day yet where it was easy for me to get out and get going. Never. Not yet. I had plenty of days that I was more motivated to get out and do, but that still didn't make me warming these old muscles up and get them going. Or their old stubborn body trying to say I don't want to. You got to put foot to butt and say get on up and get going anyway. And see, what helps me more than anything else is knowing that I'm starting to pick up a following, and our brothers and sisters are at least thinking about getting themselves in shape. But all it takes is one time. I can promise you that. One time getting them lungs full of that fire air in your lungs. Feeling them muscles getting sore. And the idea that you have accomplished something for that day, then that's going to help motivate you to get on up the next one. I said help motivate, I ain't say it was going to get you up. Because my muscles talking right now, being it Thursday. But I can't give up. Like I was saying yesterday, I was at a point where I wanted to stop. But I know if I stop one time, the next time I get out and ride, I'll start stopping again. Or I'll stop again. See, I don't want to be stopping at all when I'm trying to improve on my time. I see your guard already, huh? Have a good one. Now you see my man there almost every day. Last summer, but I think this weather got him. I remember him because he looked just like my Uncle Gus, Augusta Brown. Father rest his soul. Oh boy. And see, I think too, what's going on with my muscles is that I had to run to the UPS store before they shut down to get a package off. And see, I can't be playing around with my hustle. I was pretty good hustle on eBay and OfferUp. And I got a 100% on my selling grade. So you don't want to mess up your grade, because that's how other buyers are motivated to purchase from you. Oh boy, look what we talking about. One again of that consistency. See, by me being persistent on shipping my products out and shipping them out in the proper order that I say they are in when I'm selling it, folks want to rebuy from me. But yeah, I was telling the hard story to tell about the Goldsboro bad news bears, I guess you would call them. Because when I was in junior high school and a freshman in high school, I played for the junior varsity team. Yep, even in junior high school. Me and my brother, we was just that good. In the first season, we did pretty good winning. But then my brother graduated and went on up to varsity. And it was thought best that I stick to junior varsity Pretty much because the varsity team had a good tight-knit family, or I should say all the positions were pretty much taken. But I could have made the team as a backup. However, I was a starter and a team leader on the JV squad. Plus, we had just had a pretty good year that season before. So I'm thinking I'll go and get some more experience from the JV squad as pretty much the man, and parlay that on over to the varsity squad during my sophomore year. Which I did, but little did I know we were gonna have the worst season in our school's history on that JV squad. And I was the leader, so that made me feel and look somewhat, I shouldn't say look, because I always performed and shined, I guess you could say, just simply because our father was our coach, and he made sure we learned the fundamentals of the game and had a basic love for the game. And see, when you love what you're doing, you're not only going to put in the work eventually, or you're just a spectator that loves the game. But if you love the game as a player or a baller, you're going to put in the hard work to be a winner. So that's what it's all about, getting a W. I think that year we won 2 games, and we basically beat the same team both times. So you know they was extra sorry. Thank you. But I learned a whole lot of life lessons that year in high school, my freshman year. Not only was I facing the pressure of being a freshman in high school, but also being teased as a bad ball player or the leader of the Bad News Bears. And see, I took that personal every game we played. Every pitch I threw, I was trying to strike them out and the people in my high school classes. Because them jokers would say, every time we got up to go and play, it was like, what's the use? You just playing just to get out of school early. They would say stuff like that to an individual like myself who absolutely loved baseball. There were plenty of occasions I wanted to fight. But I remember what my papa told me. He said, always take your aggression out on that baseball. When you're on the field and the ump gives you a bad call, or you have a disagreement with another player, take it out on the field, not on your players or the opposite team's players, unless you're playing football, which he taught us that also. Don't take it out in words, take it out in action. Next opportunity you have, put him on his, I'm gonna say butt or hind part, but that's not how Papa taught us. He said you put him on his Aesop sop, as my Auntie Georgie might say. And that's what we did, and a lot of times we didn't know no better. Well, I didn't. I would go back and get that fella the next play. Even though I was on offense and he was on defense, I would go put him on his hind part. And then I look up after getting the flag and see my pop smiling. Like, good job, you did what I told you. All right. And I'll be like, I know. But I had to learn I couldn't just fly off on the joker because he got me. Or should I say he got the best of me. Hi y'all. Alright. But like I said, that was one of the hardest years in my life. One full of lessons. One full of hard lessons. But I said what my wife was telling me when we first got together. And I would say something to her about her being stuck up and pouting and trying to have her way. She'd be like, get over it. Get over it already. And that would just make me hot more hotter. Excuse me. And that was a couple of years after my mother and father had divorced. Because they was basically separated for years and years. I think more or less for our sake. But then by the time we was in junior high school and high school, I guess they said they're old enough to handle the realities of a divorce. But we were not. I don't think you ever get used to that when you've been raised in a household with your parents and that's all you know. As a strong foundation in your life. You knew you could count on both of them, but it was something else added to counting on them together. And that's the key to our black families, or our Hebrew brothers and sisters households. Stand together under the Most High's lead and rules. And we can do it. No, it's not easy. My wife and I have been together going on 22 years this year. And as far as easy is concerned, It's just like we started off yesterday. However, as far as the love is concerned, it's like we've been together all our lives. But the thought is that of being persistent to stay consistent. How did I say that? Remind me. Being persistent to stay consistent. Or persistent to stay consistent. I wasn't absolutely sure if I had knocked all my squats off. But just in case, 'cause I don't want to get behind this week again. And end up having to do them tomorrow. That would be just terrible. 2 weeks in a row. Because I made a mistake twice on the same day. Once last Thursday and then this Thursday. And getting in my 4 200 squats.